Thanks. Now to an exclusive story you'll see only here on Western Mass News.
The wife of a Springfield murder victim speaking out as one of the suspects appears in court.
And Western Mass News reporter Paris Dunford joins us now live with more details. Paris.
Chris, Mary, 2 people were arrested and charged with murder in connection to that deadly shooting on Belmont Avenue on Monday. 32-year-old Christina Guzman appeared in front of a judge today for her arraignment and was ordered to be held without the right to bail. She and Rafael Calo are accused of murdering a 32-year-old Justin Breton. Western Mass News spoke exclusively with Justin's wife, Alicia, who tells us how this week has been and describes who her husband was as a person.
Devastating. You know, I barely slept. He was a wonderful father. He helped everyone. He didn't care if he didn't know you. He loved children.
Middle school?
Alicia tells us her 14-year-old daughter witnessed her husband's murder on Monday. He was taken to Bay State Medical Center after the shooting and later died. Rafael Calo is scheduled to appear in court on Monday. Stick with Western Mass News as we continue to follow this developing story. For now, reporting live in Springfield, Paris Dunford for Western Mass News.
Paris, thanks.